Hello my fellow mayors and welcome once again to Perafilozof City Skylines videos. In this one I'll be continuing to build up the city in which I plan to reach 1 million population on the hard mode, the city of Bedrock. Now because I'm fighting a little bit of a cold and I really can't speak, and you might even notice that my nose is kinda full right now, I'm just gonna give you a short status update so you can see where I'm up to. I'm currently at 344,000 and climbing up at a rate of 1,500 sims per week. This because I had a smallish death wave that is then getting taken care of while the new sims are moving in, and you can see here that the death rate is at around 1,000 at the moment, while the birth rate is 1,500. Actually, that's 1,900. Sorry. And interesting thing that you can see, look at these buildings here. You can see that most of them are green. Some are this color that shows that there are adults mostly in those buildings. The green is mostly families, but when you reach the ones that I built some time ago, you can see that they are getting old at about the same time. This is what causes death waves in most cases, when a lot of sims end up dying at the same time. This is gonna keep happening to this part of the city because it was all zoned at the same time. While you can see that over here, they're mostly families and you won't see many buildings except a few here that are going to say that they are mostly seniors, which means that they're going to die soon. This is why you have deathways, and this is how you can see that a city that is stable, been stable for years, looks all green, maybe a little bit of, what is this, wild, and there are very few buildings that are actually dark brown. So I was also going to expand. I increased the size of this highway, made it straight and going all the way here. I made a small intersection here for the highways to keep the traffic flowing up, and there's an internal highway for this part of the city. I actually had to use tunnels here because I had the problem of the lake and the water pumping stations being here, and I took the tunnels underneath and then continued on once again with the raised highways on the other side of the lake. This internal highway structure is going to allow me to have a simple off-ramps and on-ramps for this entire part of the city, and I will do the same on this side. This is probably going to take quite a while and probably going to increase the population by probably 100,000 if not more, and it's going to take a while to build up. Let me just show you the statistic for a few moments. You can see that the population has been rising steadily, and even with some larger jumps than before. As for the birth rate, you can see it still oscillates wildly, as does the death rate, and it's very annoying that that happens. The employment percentage, I am also having these oscillations, but they are kind of in a good spot right now because I have good demand, medium demand for residential, medium demand, actually low demand for commercial, and medium demand for industry and offices, while the unemployment rate is 8% with the additional sims that are moving in. When they start dying off and I have the increase in the death rate, as you can see here, now it's 1,200, at that point my unemployment drops and the number of jobs available becomes much higher than the people employed. So that's what's happening right now in the city. You can see that I've finished up this whole area here. I actually added this curvy train terminal here because I just wanted to see just how much would it be used, and it's not really that used. So I'm probably gonna end up destroying it. As for the imports and exports, I seem to import some more additional goods for my commercial buildings, even though I have added sometimes double strips of industry in these parts to produce more goods, and even with a few areas having the industrial plannings, the industrial space planning poles, like over here, then this entire strip here, and this small piece here, that is still not enough goods, so I will probably have to end up taking one of these districts using the industrial space planning on it to make sure that I will have enough goods for all these buildings, the commercial buildings, and so that they won't be importing but rather exporting. The problems with traffic are getting smaller and smaller. I have used the trick where I raise the highway in order to get a ramp beneath it in here, and you can see this frees up the flow much better than if they have to go through this highway in order to get to this one. There is also the thing that there's a limit on how many agents can there be in the city, and as my city grows and grows, there are gonna be fewer and fewer cars on each street that you look upon, because there's a limit to how many there can be in total. This intersection is also one of the more interesting ones. They go up, and then they can go right to this one going this way, and left to this one going down, also continue over here. It really looks awesome, and it works fantastically, which you can see here. Depending on where do they want to go, they sometimes do crazy stuff like that, but most of the time, okay, that was hilarious. Maybe that could be changed with the traffic manager. Let's see if I can grab this and turn off these two, so on the left, so on the right, and on the forward. Let's see, how do they work out now? Well, they probably won't obey these rules right now, because they have started their journey when these rules weren't implemented, but probably in a little while they'll start following these rules. In any event, the traffic is not that heavy in order for this to create a problem. At the moment I am reaching my garbage production capacity because the population has increased while I've been talking. So I will actually need to turn on another incineration plant. I already had to add more water treatment plants and more water pumping stations, and as soon as I start expanding here, you can see that I already set up the network for the water and sewage. As I start expanding, I will have to use more. The lake doesn't seem to be draining at all. I think I might even be able to supply my entire city with it, although when I take a look at how many I've already placed and how many I can place, I could probably supply around 700,000 people from this lake if it doesn't dry out at some point, while I will have to be using some other place like this river later on to add more water pumping stations. It would be really nice if there were by default pumping stations that were smaller, that were this size, but be able to but have more capacity. There is an asset that is about 3 times the size and 3 times the capacity, so that's pretty much the same again. It would take up the same amount of space and pump up the same amount of water, but in any event, it is what it is. So this was, like I said, just a short update. I'm still trying to clear up my sinuses and to be able to speak a little bit more in a longer video. So thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more.